What's good? It's your boy Ty Money, and today I want to talk about that VR headset that can kill you, and what is the meaning behind it, and what is basically the VR headset that can kill people, and if they die in the game, they can die in real life. That's going to be part of the future of death row inmates in prison, basically in prison death row inmates. Instead of doing this and doing that to them, like in Ohio, they twist your head off. I don't know if that's true though, but when it comes to this VR headset that can kill you if you die in the game, you can die in real life. That's gonna be real for death row inmates. How I know this? Because I looked through my pineal gland, and also I kind of brought it up. Why I think it? Why I said I've been thought about it when I first saw it. The guy that make Oculus Rift, the VR headset that's available and cheap, so I can't say, well, all the VR headsets, yeah, it's cheaper to buy, but it depends on where you get it from. But one thing I want to say though is that when it comes down to the VR headset that can kill you, the guy said that, he's not making it available to the public, but at the same time, will never be available to the public because that VR headset is strictly going to be for death row inmates, those who got the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? It might be more entertaining for those who watch that type of stuff, but it's only going to come to existence once VR headsets are popular until the 2/3 of this earth are already plugged into the metaverse. Like, basically, what I'm trying to say is they is going to make dozens of VR headsets, or basically one for each prison, or basically many of them when it comes to death row inmates, but it will add that to the death row inmates that have the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? I know you're wondering, like, damn, you just really just brought up an idea to these people, and now they're gonna bring it to existence. They probably thought of it already. It's just that for me, I just think, I'm a thinker. Like, there's a reason why I'm a thinker. Every time I just think too much. I mean, I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? But I am going to brush my teeth a lot. But at the same time, I don't think the fluoride in the toothbrush it might affect my pineal gland, but I don't think to the extreme. Because like I said, the frequencies that came into my pineal gland, you know what I'm saying, made it stronger. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand if not just fluoride, but I mean other toxic food or foods that got chemicals in it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't barely eat fruits or vegetables, but basically what I'm trying to say though is that when it comes to that VR headset that can kill you, that's gonna be made for death row inmates in prison. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I know this to be a fact because they are gonna make something strictly for those inmates. You know what I'm saying? Strictly for those inmates and for guys that's in the death row penalty. And what it's gonna do is gonna entertain those who want, like, they can see the gameplay from the screen, see how they play it. At the same time, it's gonna be in hard mode or very hard mode to the point where they deal with the whole realism of the gameplay. They're gonna eventually lose their life because it's gonna be in very hard mode. And once they're trying to fight their way out, it depends on what their game skill is, but they're not gonna let it slide for death row inmates. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the VR headset that Oculus Rift, the guy that owned Oculus, that created Oculus Rift, that is gonna be strictly made for death row inmates in prison. Once VR and the metaverse is popularized and VR headsets are selling crazy to the point where every 2/3 of this earth is using it. I can't speak for the 1/3, but the 2/3 of this earth will use it and they're gonna be plugged in. And for those who are already plugged into the VR headset, if they did a crime, not in the metaverse might be different, but in the real world, like in the metaverse, your avatar is gonna be deal with the consequences. But in the real world, like if you commit a crime in the real world, like say like you killed a pregnant woman or some children or anything in that matter, yes, you is gonna get the death penalty. But instead of put you in an electric chair or have your head twist or any of those type of things, they're gonna add the VR headset that can kill you, added into the death row inmates death penalty. You know what I'm saying? And what's going to happen is they don't get. It's going to be entertainment for those who are viewing it. You know what I'm saying? Who are viewing it from the screen that they're in. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause if they lose in the game, they're gonna lose their life in real life. So that's what's gonna happen with. See, the thing is, he bringing up the idea now, showing you the VR headset that can kill you, all the things around it. But the thing about it is, it's not gonna come to the public, but it's gonna come to those who are gonna be part of the death row inmates. You know what I'm saying? It will never come to play. It's gonna be made strictly for the prisons that got death row inmates. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, yo, that's what the VR headset is gonna do for those, that's in death row. You know what I mean? So I know you wonder, and this is the real reason why I'm chosen for the metaverse. Like, there is a cannabis store being built around the corner from my house, and it's gonna be big too. So I am gonna get a job application to get into the cannabis industry around that point. But my main goal is not only just cannabis, but also the metaverse, the spirit realm, and stuff like that. But I'm a very spiritual person. That's why I know for a fact they're gonna use that VR headset that can kill you for death row inmates that's in death row and facing the death penalty, and that's what they're gonna use it for. So, but it might not come to around in sometime in the decade of 2030, like I said, when VR headsets are popular and 2/3 of this earth are connected to it, here in America or even in Canada, even these places that got the death penalty, they're going to use that VR headset for death row inmates. Since they not give them a chance, both to have them entertain, basically die in the metaverse. If they're that, if they're that type of person that was obsessed with the metaverse and stuff, but end up bringing that into the real world, depending on what they're playing, either Grand Theft Auto or Mortal Kombat, if they bring that into the real world and do it to an innocent person, especially someone that got killed or anything, they're gonna give it to the death row inmates and they're gonna play it with the VR headset and stuff like that. So that's one thing I want to let y'all know, man. So other than that, though, man, that's all I want to say. And that's all I want to put out there. So other than that, though, that's all I want to let y'all know. You know what I'm saying? I just want to put that out there to let y'all know what that VR headset that can kill you is being shown for. Yes, it's gonna come into those who's in death row and stuff like that. And that's one thing I want to say. Cause death row and all that is not going nowhere. They're still gonna have that. So that's one thing. But once they add the VR headset into it, that's gonna really, get attention from the whole world who got death penalties. And that's all I gotta say. This is your boy Ty Money.